back might pull it down just a little. Yeah. Perfect, thank you.
Unaccustomed as I am to public oratory, it behooves me on this salubrious occasion. I know that always gets everybody excited. So welcome. My name is Barry Wright. I'm the interim dean here at the Goodman School of Business, and I want to welcome each and every one here today for our exciting announcement. We're going to be talking a little bit about data analytics today, and it's so wonderful to have so many people here joining us. It is a glorious day for Goodman, it's a glorious day for Brock University, and in particular it's a glorious day for Niagara. So thank you for everybody coming out to join us. Data and decision making work so well together. Many of us make lots of decisions without good data. But one of the things that we'll be able to do after our center's up and running is to make sure that we have great data to be able to help individuals make great decisions. I recall one of the first times that I was involved in this was working with this organization, Sobeys, as you many know, buying your groceries with them. And I remember talking with them as they were going through all of their data analytics, and one of the things they were looking at was what should we put on sale? And so what they discovered when they put salad on sale, then carrots and onions and cucumbers and things like that would also walk out of the store. But if they put cucumbers and salad and carrots and onions on sale, nothing would happen. And so it was the data analytics able to help them to make better decisions that help their organization be successful. That was many years ago. We've moved so far beyond that. And we're excited now to talk about the opportunity that happens here within Goodman and across Brock University. I had an opportunity this year to be invited to Anthony's MBA class when they were giving their final year-end presentations, and I was able to just stay in for one of the groups, and it was unbelievable. I thought I was at a PhD seminar, but it was even beyond that. But it was amazing, the techniques and the skills and that the individuals were using. And the part that I really liked was that the group that was at the front making their presentation on the analytics that they did, the interaction from the rest of the students, a room full of 40 students back and forth, going back and looking at the ideas and how they could do it, it was truly amazing. So I know that there's some wonderful things that are going on within our programs, and now we're able to take it to the next level, which is to talk about a center here, a research center, an analytics center here that will help from Niagara and Ontario and beyond. So it's my pleasure to introduce and invite the chair of the Niagara region, Alan Caslin, to come forward to bring some remarks on behalf of Niagara. Alan.
Well, Barry, I'm not sure what the big deal is about big data because, you know, I could just say, go ask my wife. She's got an answer for everything. There's nothing more cruel than the facts, and you really can't dispute data, and it's great that we're finally using it to our advantage. So congratulations to the School of Business here at Brock and their efforts to make Niagara more connected and an integrated place to do business. The Center for Business Analytics will enable businesses, institutions, and students to work together to gain insight from big data. Big data is having a significant effect on the world today. The Interdisciplinary Research Hub will allow business school to connect with other disciplines and community businesses to make a meaningful place out of Niagara. The sheer amount of data organizations can use to their advantage is staggering and is a point of shifting decisions based on insights to data. In June 2016, Niagara Open Data Community launched a new tool of open sharing of data today. The Niagara Open Data Portal is a result of a collaborative project undertaken by Niagara's municipalities, community organizations, and educational institutions. The portal provides free and open point of Niagara residents, businesses, and schools and other organizations to access Niagara's growing catalog of freely shared data charting everything from road networks to heritage properties to quality of life. And I'll tell you, the quality of life in Niagara is getting better. The portal represents a collective shift to more open data, collective and transparent Niagara, and provides an easy access and powerful tools that have the potential to translate and inform business decisions everywhere. So once again, on behalf of Regional Council and myself, the Chair of Niagara, I want to congratulate you on your new endeavor and all the best moving forward with big data.
So I want to thank Alan for joining us. He has a couple of other commitments tonight, one being the actual region meeting, so we wish you well. We know there's nothing very much exciting happening in the region these days, so it's good. There is lots of, on the other side, there's lots of exciting things happening in the region these days. Thank you very much. So it's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Anzo. Anthony has been the leader of this initiative right from the start. I do want to also give a big tip of the hat to our Dean's Advisory Council, who was very instrumental in bringing this forward and actually working with Anthony to move forward. And so we have two members here right now. Marty Phelps sitting in our second row, big wave at Marty, and Roland Mackin as well. So as I say, the Dean's Advisory Council was looking at things that to move the Goodman School of Business forward, and this was one of the areas that we looked at, and Anthony was very happy to take on this challenge, and we're very excited to invite him to the podium to talk about the center. Anthony.
First of all, I would like to thank you all for taking your time out of your busy schedule and joining us to celebrate the official launching of the Center for Business Analytics. I'm so happy to see many of you coming back after many of you for several years, and this is a great event to celebrate. As many of you know, big data and analytics have brought big excitements. At the same time, big skepticism. But here at Goodman, we have chosen to be excited, and we believe in the realities of big data. And this was a journey that started a few years back following the opening of the training program in our graduate program. It is the result of our pedagogical challenge in our training environment, and they need to create a collaborative ecosystem that involves experts from multiple disciplines in academia and also private and public sectors. So our mission is founded on three related pillars. Number one is research and innovation. We want the center to be a catalyst in promoting data-driven research by bringing together a team of data analytics researchers, students, thought leaders, and practitioners. And that's the crowd I see here. Number two, engagement with public and private sectors. We want this center to be a go-to pool of expertise for public and private sectors and the local community to address business problems. Problems primarily driven by data and the exploitation of data. Number three, student training. I was just talking to people here how important it is to understand the importance of linking with industry for experiential learning for our students. So in this pillar, we want the center to represent an interdisciplinary hub for training the next generation of data analysts. Therefore, for your contribution and help in every critical milestone until this moment, I thank all of you here today, including Brock community, Goodman and Brock management for buying the idea at the beginning. I also thank Goodman's marketing and communication team for working tirelessly from day one and bringing this forum together. Our software and data partners, special thank you to SAS for getting us started in the classroom at the time when we needed the right platform technology to teach our students, because this center is a natural extension to what we've been doing in the classroom. I would like to also thank our founding members of the center. I have traveled with some of you, Roloff, on road shows, meeting multiple partners at lunch, dinner, and every single one of you who have welcomed our idea and committed your time to meet us and serve as advisory board member for a long-term commitment, and also in the form of data and other forms of partnership. As we have gathered to celebrate this great accomplishment, it is also important to reflect on the role of big data and analytics in our current and future world. So it is now a great honor and pleasure for me to introduce to you our keynote speaker for this event, Laurie Bida, Head of Analytics Center of Excellence at Bank of Montreal. Laurie's impressive record as a business, analytics, and marketing executive for 20 years is a true standout in this field. Having worked across North and South America and parts of Europe, her contribution to the growth of business through the strategic use of data and insights include Fortune 500 companies across industries such as financial services and insurance, telecom, technology, health, publishing, lodging and entertainment, retail and manufacturing. Beginning in the marketing service provider sector, her contributions in analytics at top-tier agencies like Ogilvy One, Rob Collins, knowledge-based marketing includes big clients like IBM, Dell, Bell, Bombardier. Following that, Laurie has held several impressive senior positions within top-tier Canadian banks. At CIBC, she oversaw cards acquisition, retention, revenue, risk, price optimization, and partnerships. She later became CIBC's Vice President of Client Insights and Database Marketing, responsible for enterprise analytics, research, and direct marketing. At TD Bank, as Vice President of Analytics and Market Research, she helped redefine the customer journey and customer contact optimization from a data-driven approach. Joining SAS, the leading analytics software firm worldwide and our key partner in the center and in our training program, Laurie was the executive lead of customer intelligence across the Americas, where she led a business strategy and software consulting practice across the North and South America. Currently, as head of BMO's Analytics Center of Excellence, she oversees revenue, risk, price, trade-off decisions, product analytics, customer optimization, database marketing, predictive analytics, customer experience, sales and service optimization. Laurie is a member of the Queen's Analytics Business School Board, a frequent industry speaker, published writer, and analytics thought leader. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Laurie Bida.
Good afternoon, folks. I guess we don't have enough seats, and who'd have thought that a subject like data and analytics would make this kind of draw? 15 years ago, we weren't allowed out into the light of day, and now you got this, which is progress for all of us. So welcome. It is my sincere pleasure not only to be here to talk about a subject I love, but to be back home in the Niagara Peninsula where I grew up. And you know, when I think about the subject of data, for me, it's not about oil, it's about water. Data is like water. It is the thing that sustains us. And it is the thing that will continue to sustain us as business leaders. And whether you're here representing a business, whether you're here as a student or alumni, or whether you're here as an educator, the field of business, of data and analytics is going to be highly differentiating and be the fuel in our veins. And when we think about the subject of data, and we think about what it is and what it means for us, whether you're an organization who is creating products, and whether you're Apple and you're differentiating yourself based on the next new product innovation, whether you're a Walmart and somebody who's really trying to bring to market the next new innovation through being more efficient in how you bring products to market, whether you're a Disney, differentiating yourself based on the next experience that you're going to deliver to a customer, it is information that's rivering underneath all of that that is providing differentiation at a business level. And is the folks within this room who are the folks responsible for monetizing it. And the data in our world now is doubling, and it's doubling every 2 years at a massive rate. And the folks within this room and those that we serve with data, our thirst for that data is just unquenchable. And part of the reason for that is us, right? Us as human beings. The data footprint that we are creating is growing at an unprecedented rate. 1.7 megabytes of new information is created every second by every human being in this room. And of that information, a third of it we're storing out to the cloud. And 6.1 billion of us are leveraging smartphones, and that is growing at a rapid rate as well. And what's interesting is that information is being rapidly transformed every day of our lives, but only a fraction of it is being used. And therein lies the opportunity. And we've been mining big data for a long time, and many of us have been at this for a while. But when you think about it, only 0.5% of this is actually being transformed, right, and leveraged. And therein lies the opportunity. And when you think about it, what's fascinating is 15 years ago, many of the folks who were coders and statisticians weren't allowed out of the back rooms. You know, the COBOL programmers, don't go talk to them like mushrooms in the back room. Good God forbid what he says. He shows up to work in his pajamas. We're afraid of these folks. Now analytics has gone mainstream, and who'd have thought in a million years that the face that they would put to represent us would be Brad Pitt, right? The face of the Oakland A's, right? The Billy Beans of the world. But analytics has been taken to a whole new level where it's pervasive, right? Across not only industry, across Hollywood. It is how folks are going to be running businesses going forward. And so what does it take, right, to be successful? And I wanted to give you some examples because when individuals think about analytics, and even myself being in banking, they're thinking about the kind of inelegance of it. But analytics is cool for many reasons, not the least of which is the applications being vast. And if you're a practitioner of it, your opportunities are endless. And if you're a consumer of it, you only need to tilt your thinking slightly to figure out how you can apply it to run a better business, to run a better world, to have a better planet. And I'll give you an example, Pemex, an organization that runs oil rigs off the coast of Mexico. What's fascinating about them is you can run an oil rig rather traditionally, and you can run it until the bits run out, and you can run it until the system needs to be pulled up and repaired. Or you can run a business very analytically driven, where you're detecting the vibration and when the actual machinery actually faults, and then you can connect that to exogenous data, external data related to the market on market oil prices. You can connect those pieces of data, the sensor data that's happening at an operational level in the field, with the market data that's happening to detect oil prices. And you can determine the optimal time to actually pull up the rig and repair it. And what do you think they've done? Right, this is the smartness of analytics, and it's the smartness of what's happened in the field with connecting what it is that's happening at an enterprise level. And who'd have thought that analyst cranking out that data and that information, who's looking at oil prices, would one day be thinking about directing folks in the field about when to repair an oil rig. The Internet of Everything, we've talked about Internet of Things, but it's really everything. It's everything from repairing that washing machine and it providing its own instructions as to when it needs to be repaired, to the IP address on a cat. I kid you not, I would love to have that. I adopted a stray. To everything through to the ability to be able to have patches on one arm to be able to detect when insulin levels are up and down for diabetics. And when we think about this, we think all the way through to things like the connected car and autonomous vehicles. And what's interesting is the average car has 4 CPUs, and it generates 8 terabytes of data per day. And that car is driving around the same car that we've been used to, taking it in for service with that sticker on the windshield that says the next time it's for service. that same car in this day and age is reading information, and that sensor data is being sent back into a central location to be able to determine when it actually needs updates. And moreover, it's connecting to insurance companies who are leveraging that data in real time to detect when that next service install ought to happen. And not only that, what's the right insurance premium to assign to that individual driver based on their driving patterns. And this type of real-time recalibration that is occurring around the world as these vehicles are driving around is our new normal. And it's cool, right? And unless we think, if that doesn't space you out, how about asteroids, right? There's 600,000 of them orbiting our planet. And while they don't tend to hit the Earth, they do actually hit each other. And what's cool, there's a gentleman, Jeff Jonas, a friend of mine, who's one of the data scientists over at IBM. One of the things that he worked with the folks that are doing work over on the asteroid detection unit is to figure out when these asteroids are orbiting. And one of their problems was, they couldn't compute the number of connections and the number of instances where asteroids could collide. There were 600,000 of them, and they found that it took 10 million compute hours to actually compute the intersections. They couldn't do it. The computers weren't large enough to be able to handle it. The hours, nobody could wait that long, and by the time they did, the asteroids would collide. And they didn't have the computational power and the statistics to be able to plow through it. And what he figured out in partnership was through leveraging high-power computing and high-powered analytics is how to actually create the algorithms to do this and predict where these asteroids were going to collide and when, and be able to be ahead of the game to be able to anticipate this to avoid catastrophic events. A direct application of analytics that's happening around us right now. And customer journeys is something that I've spent a lot of time over the last 5 years or so, and it's a field where when we think about journeys, the easiest analogy that I would offer you is all of us in this room are on a journey of one shape or form. We're buying a home, we're taking up a new product, we're taking our child to school. And through the course of those journeys, even though as organizations, we set up pathways for people to go down, like dams, right? These pathways that we expect a customer to go down. What's interesting is that the customers, and all of us, sometimes go down those paths. But in often cases, they go down every other path, intended or unintended. And journey analytics and the discipline of that captures all that's wet, is the way to think about it. And all that's wet is captured through data. And the memory of that is stored within databases. And it's stored in Hadoop clusters, and it's analyzed through various analytic techniques. And what's cool about it is our ability to be able to understand not only the intention, that I intended to buy a house, I intended to log into my online banking system, but what's the pathway I took to get there, and where did I get stuck in the process? And in our own example, within our own organization, what we found, and it's a simple thing each of us can relate to, is we're at home, trying to log into our online banking system. And inevitably, you're trying to log in and your password, you get stuck, right? You forget your password, and it prompts you and says, hey, you know what, let's ask you a few key questions. Your best friend's name, your dog's name, and God forbid we all forget our best friend's name, but maybe we set that 4 or 5 years ago, we happen to forget it, and we get locked out of online banking. And that process, that journey becomes a real bumpy one. And moreover, what we found in that particular data is that there's steps along the way in that process that are highly predictive of customer satisfaction. They're also highly predictive of cost. And if we don't do something right, those same customers who started to do something online show up offline. They show up in branches, they call us. And then they end up not doing business with us. And so the connection point in this what seems like simple analytics and the correlation and causality between an event, you start to figure out, wow, that simple fact that you actually couldn't log in means you actually are 4 times less likely to get a mortgage with us. And so this relationship in the data, this accumulation of what it is that's happening to me as a customer, and all of the journeys that I'm on, and it turns out millions of them, and millions of Canadians in flight in a journey, stored now in a database because you can, and because you can analyze it, starting to study that in a whole school of thought around journey analytics. A fascinating field and one that's exploding at great rates. And one of the subjects that many of us have spoken about and talked about around even Billy Beane and the Oakland A's and became popularized with that, but is pervasive around the world, is sports teams investing in sports analytics. And one of the things that we do find is the ability to be able to match up the composition of one line or one team playing in a field of play with another team. And even the advent, the wearable devices and the connection of wearable devices and the connection of that data in practice, and then leveraging that to be able to match up the right skills with an individual against another field, another team. And the ability to be able to take that information all in concert to be able to compete in a whole different level. And while that's happening on field, off field, what's happening with the fan experience is the whole combination of what's happening in the engagement with social, the statistics that are being collected. The whole field of sports is changing and coming to a whole new level fueled by analytics. And you know, lest we all think this is all about consumerism, there's data for good, right? And there's a whole organization structured around that I do work with, SAS does work with. And some of the cool things happening in that space is that, you know, there's a lot of work happening around human genome sequencing and the ability to be able to predict early patterns of cancer, something near and dear to my heart with families facing that right now. And the ability to be able to look at those causal factors that are leading to impending cancer, and the ability to be able to detect those patterns using traditional statistical means. And you know, I have another friend of mine who's out in Southern California who's a great animal lover, dogs in this case. And what it is that she found is that there's a whole host of individuals out there who have a number of animals who are seeking adoption, and people who are looking to have animals be adopted. And at the same time, concurrently, a bunch of animals who are overflowing in shelters who are at the cusp of being euthanized. What she saw wisely is that it's a data problem, and it's a matchup problem. And it's the ability to connect prospective owners with prospective pets. And what she wisely did is connected those data sources, matched up the personalities, like online dating for pets, and connected those folks together and said, how do I take some pet, a dog who's in Southern California, and match him with someone who's in Oregon? And how do I, in real time, make sure, knowing that this pet is within hours of being euthanized, how do I connect pet to owner and save that pet's life? Which she did, and which is live and well now in Southern California and spilling out to other areas around the world. So data for good, right? And that's data, bits and bytes. When we talk about data, it comes in many forms, right? Voice-to-text conversion, image data. And this is a clip that I took from Niagara Navigator, and the gentleman who was talking about his wife and the ability for his wife to provide instruction. I would bet that inside of her head is a Hadoop database that is larger than the day is long. But what I did find is digging in, and certainly, and this is actually an image of my family's farm here in the Niagara region, but the Niagara region has a whole ton of data, free data, as he pointed out, that's available through open infrastructure. But one of the fastest growing data sources around the world is image data. And the ability to be able to convert that into information that's available for those of us around regions like this who are doing planning. But moreover, what's happening at rapid scale is the ability to leverage lookalike modeling and take data in context and match it up to other images so that you can recognize that it's a Tower of London. You can recognize for cybersecurity that it's a terrorist threat. You can recognize through facial recognition and convert that and realize that that's an imminent threat. And that piece of information, that bit of data, is becoming every bit available. And these are the sorts of things that we're being taught now as practitioners of data to be able to grow and build on from a capability perspective. And you know, it's an awesome time to be in this field, and I don't say that just as a self-professed geek. I mean, it is an amazing time that the world has come together and offered us up. And for those of you who are in these programs or graduates of these programs, you don't often have a circumstance where you've got consumer expectations coming together with market forces to provide this opportunity. You know, we're in a cool spot where consumer expectations are set by the highest common denominator that we experience. We experience brands not unique to the category we're in. We want things fast because we were just online and we ordered something through Amazon Prime and it showed up at our house an hour later. You know, think Chewbacca mom mask. I mean, I have one. I saw it and I ordered it and it showed up at my house and everyone has one now. You know, new normal, right? But our expectations around service, the speed of service, are dictated by that which we see out there in cybersphere. So it applies to banks, it applies to telco, it applies to the next big thing that we face. And from a technology perspective, gone are the days where we're building this customer level KIF and this infrastructure and that 10-year IT project. Technology is more accessible than it's ever been, whether through open source, and certainly less costly than it has ever been. So it provides infrastructure for new entrants. It provides, individuals and companies and folks like Shopify to set up infrastructure and spin up new businesses at rapid course, where 5-6 years ago we never had that. And the wealth of data that we have through bricks to clicks and on to offline is unprecedented. If you're in this field and you're mining data, you will never go hungry. It's just the ability to apply. And what's interesting, and I don't even like the words regulatory scrutiny, it just makes everything in me bristle. But the reality is, it employs us, right? And it puts a demand on the level of precision around data and analytics that we've not had, right? It makes sure that we've got data lineage. It makes sure that we're tracking things in a more thorough way. And it puts a discipline around the work that is important that we do and around the importance of big data. And it provides an infrastructure for us all to play that's different than it's ever been, and it's right. And when I think about, from my perspective, having run analytics teams for years and years, data is only as good as your ability to use it. And information without context is just a piece of data. And analytics without action is interesting, but it doesn't make you any money and it doesn't change the client experience. And you need all three in order to have a sustainable business and, to be honest, to be a good analytics practitioner. And the data that we deal with today is data from multiple sources. It's exogenous, it's internal, it's external, it's offline, it's online. It's voice data, it's visual, it's the combination and that cocktail that makes for a good meal. And it's the pulling together of all of that helps us drive an insight. And when we're talking about layers of analytics, it's not only about business insight and analytics, it's not the automation or optimization of that, it's the contextualization of that, it's the ability to then, as we grow, to do machine learning off of that. It's that whole continuum of analytics and stretching that out and looking at how we can actually take analytics to the nth degree. And then once you have that insight and you're assured that that insight is right, how do you act? And we'd had an experience recently, we were doing some journey analytics, and we were finding that there were tons of people showing up in our branches, and because it's tax season, it's topical, paying taxes. And we said, why are all these people showing up in the branches doing that exact task? Why is that? Why don't people just pay it online, Why do that? And then, at the same time, you obviously get people dissatisfied because they're waiting in line. And so we were looking at our data, and we were studying what was actually happening, and lo and behold, the clues in the data were actually there, but you sometimes miss it. And when you studied it, you looked at the little drop-down menu, and I'm sure you've done this when you pay a bill, and you see how the bill's described, the bill name, right? And it was Canada Revenue.xyz, corn.dash, this, and you look at it and you say, well, good God, what is that? What does that actually mean? What it meant was this year's taxes. And so the clue to us is maybe if you just put this year's taxes, people would understand that that's actually what they needed to do. And so from understanding through the clickstream data feed and how long people hovered over that, and how many people did it, and how many people started online and then in 48 hours showed up offline doing the same task, connecting that data, we were able to figure that out, adjust the feed, adjust the text, people stopped showing up in branch like that. And I say that because it connects data with the insight, with the rapid action, and the ability to trigger it and change it and shift not only the client experience for the person paying the bill, but everybody else who would have stood in line behind them is a dramatically different experience. And so today there are so many different insight engines and triggered engines and ability to be able to act that exist. But when we're contemplating analytics, we need to be thinking about how are we going to trigger and how are we going to act on the decision. All the way from the insight that talks about the impending terrorist threat to the ability to intervene on the line and capture that individual before they cross the border. And it's the ability to link those and be able to think that way and have analysts who also think that way and who believe it's their role to think that way. Because the people we're talking about, the people who are in this program, and the importance of business analytics and the work that you're doing, there are not enough of you around the world doing this work. And I can tell you that as an employer of the folks that these programs birth. There is a global analytics drought. We cannot find enough skilled individuals within this field, and we compete heavily for those that are coming out of these programs as businesses. And moreover, it's very difficult once you're in business to be able to retain the talent. It's difficult to be able to provide the kind of work that is thought-provoking and sustainable to keep you folks nourished. And it's important because around the world there's so much demand. And the kind of demand, as you can see here, it's quadrupling over the last 4 years. And what's interesting, and this is research that I worked with SAS and they sponsored when I worked there. And one of the things that was always curious to me is the role that analytics teams play within organizations. And so take the discipline and all the good stuff we're learning, and then you put yourself into an organization. And there's always that difference, you know, between what it is you think you're going to do when you're going through school to what it is you actually end up doing. And indeed, there's those gaps, right? You spend 2/3 of your time cleaning up data. I'll tell you that right now as an analyst. It's getting better, but we still spend a ton of our time doing that. But what was interesting to me, and the reason that I wanted to research this and SAS helped bring this to bear, is what was the function or the strategic role that these teams played within the organization. And what this data shows you here is there's 3 sort of models. On one end, there was this service provider model, right? Like, just get me the data and tell me how many people do this task on any daily basis and just give it to me by Tuesday. But don't ask any questions, or just make sure it's right and just hand it to me on Tuesday. And you can see that in Canada, in about almost 50% of cases, there were businesses across industry doing that, less in the US. In the consultancy space, which is help find the right analytical solution for the business problem that I have, build me the right model. You know, should it be a shade tree? Should it be a neural net? Should it be this? What should my model look like? Like, help me find that right solution. And you can see in about 1/3 of cases, analytics teams operated that way. In 1/4 of cases, they were business drivers. And they sat in partnership with the business defining business objectives and driving strategy off of the insights in the data. And you might look at this and go, well, that's just completely backwards, right? It is completely backwards. What you don't see underneath this data is trend. And what you see is that everybody is headed right. And that's actually great news, right, for those of us in this room, because the organizations around us want to use data to make decisions. They want to be more fact first, but they need the translation layer, and they need the analysts to be able to make sense of the information, and they need a greater level of analytical IQ to bring decisions to bear and have fact-based decisions be made. And so when you think about this translation layer, it's the combination of skill set. It's not at all about being technically savvy. It's not that alone. It's the ability to be able to straddle a business application with the right analytical solution. And that's why I think you've got a great idea with your program here, and the ability to be able to nest it within a business discipline so that people understand business strategy while making good analytically based decisions. Because that's really all about data monetization. The ability, and you'll hear many organizations who've invested in large data infrastructures making that pivot to say, well, did it pay out? You know, did I make the right decision? And that's all the rage in organizations now, figuring out what's that actual payout. And that's in the people, processes, and technology combined. And there's that pivot towards a fact-first culture. And I know that it was Edward Deming that had said, you know, in God we trust, all others bring data. I mean, I love that quote for reasons I can't even tell you. But the truth is, it doesn't always operate that way. But I think we're at a cusp where bringing together data in a simplified form, the ability to be able to bring facts to bear for individuals and make it easier for them to understand what is happening at a business level, is changing. And the analytical mindset's interesting to me because that's just not only about understanding the discipline of analytics. It isn't about being a statistician. It's not being able to program. In fact, in our own organization, analytics as a discipline, as an attribute, is being established as a corporate competency at all levels, from executive all the way through to practitioner. And there are indeed folks who do analytics work. Within my own team, there's 150 folks who are analytics practitioners. But beyond us, when we go out into the masses and talk to folks about data and analytics, it is expected that there's a level of analytical IQ to be able to converse and speak the language of data and analytics and understand, hey, you should set up a test and control. You should really consider how we're going to model that. We should consider the data and statistics and be in some position to be able to interpret facts in an accurate way so that those conversations could be more fruitful between business and analytics. And the world's at a pivot there, right? The analysts are trying to speak business, the business is trying to speak analytics. And when those two come together, we're going to have a much different world. And nobody knows that better than my friends at SAS. And at this point, I wanted to share with you a great video that they pulled together because our future is very bright.
One or two times.
Thank you so much.
It truly was an outstanding presentation. Thank you very much. Things that I was drawing from it, data is like water. It will sustain us. Am I still that? Data allows us to differentiate, and data is opportunity. And this is the new normal. So I guess as I was listening to that, watching through it, I was thinking, am I ready for the new normal? Are we ready for the new normal? And it's very apparent that Lori is ready for the new normal. And it's very apparent now that with our Center for Business Analytics, we at Brock University and the Goodman School are working on that path. So thank you very much, Lori, on our collective behalf for a wonderful presentation. And Anthony, might invite you to join as well to give Lori a little gift on our collective behalf. So, Lori, would you join us? It's now my pleasure to invite Kara Bose, the Director for Co-op Career and Experiential Education, to the podium. We have one special announcement that we'd like to make today as well. Kara.
Thank you for having us here today. In the Co-op Career and Experiential Education, we are actually celebrating National Cooperative Education Week. And we were given the opportunity to come today because, as you will see in our presentation of Brock University's Co-op Student of the Year, how it fits with today's presentation and celebration. And my congratulations to the Goodman School of Business on holding this center. It is with my great pleasure that I present the Brock University Co-op Student of the Year Award to Mr. Paul Fusina. Paul has been an outstanding ambassador of co-op education and Brock University, both on and off campus. He portrays the values of co-op, career and experiential education, and the values of the Goodman School of Business. Last summer, Paul completed his second work term with the cooperators in Guelph as an applied analytics analyst. And I'm surprised I said that without tripping over my in the business intelligence department. One of Paul's major achievements during this work term was that he developed a predictive model for prioritizing prospective sales leads, which enabled the company to identify the potential to recover over $5 million in lost opportunity in the cooperator's prospective client process. At the end of his co-op work term, Paul was offered full-time employment upon the graduation. BMO, you cannot try and steal it.
Still time.
As a volunteer at hospice, Paul led a team to create an access database to aggregate fundraising data, which improved the efficiency in tracking donations. The SQL template code, which he developed, automated the reconciliation of donations collected and allowed Hospice Niagara the ability to use database decision-making by analyzing donor contribution patterns and fundraising trends. In addition, Paul had demonstrated strong leadership throughout his mentoring of students on campus by sharing his successes and promoting professional development. When speaking to our junior co-op students in our professional preparation course, his compelling message of taking the lead and taking control of your own career and your path is empowering our students to take full advantage of the co-op program, motivating other students to become proactive and engaging in their co-op journey and reaching higher success. In summary, Paul's passion for his work and his ability to integrate the knowledge in which he learns in the classroom, bringing that back into the workforce and vice versa, has made a positive impact on his co-op employers and on his university community. And I'm confident that no matter where you end up, Paul, that you will continue to strive for success. And I want to say thank you for representing Brock University, the co-op office, and Goodman very well every day in what you do. And I also have a couple of things that have started to gather. So we have a couple of other people that wanted to give you some recognition. We had the cooperators, a representative from the cooperators here. The co-op student of the year. I believe that there is a representative from the Niagara region, Stuart Henry. If you want to come up, Stuart, he also has a certificate of recognition for your work. Student of the Year Award. Congratulations. So I would like to give Paul the opportunity if he would like to say a few words, and then I will pass it back over to him. And there is the...
I've been told this is mandatory and contingent on my employment afterwards.
That's right.
I was told I have 1 minute, so I'll make this as quick as possible. First off, I'd like to thank Barry Wright and Goodman School of Business, and as well Dr. Alonzo for the various opportunities to learn the teaching the skills that I've adopted throughout and been able to apply through co-op. Thank you for making yourself available and helping me with various projects I've been doing externally. A lot of the areas I've gotten to now, I wouldn't have been able to get there without you, so thank you very much for all your help with that, sir. To the co-op office, they've been fantastic in coordinating my opportunities and getting me connected with a lot of different employers, both for co-op and afterwards as well, before I made my decision to go back into the cooperators. So I want to thank you guys very much for all your help there as well. And to the cooperators in general, Jason Smith, who's my boss here, the opportunities he gave me to go out and do my own project and work on a lot of things and actually try to move some things forward with analytics in the business. I wouldn't have been able to achieve a lot of the stuff that I was able to without his support and his belief that I could actually get it done. So Jason, thank you very much for giving me those opportunities. Joe Mudge, who's sitting here in the first row, I can honestly say this model doesn't get built without Joe's help. Joe really helped coordinate and show me a lot of different techniques with a lot of different software I wasn't familiar with, and I really greatly appreciate everything you did, Joe. And of course, Paul Curtis back there, who takes the, he's got the glasses, he's the guy on the side. And he's the guy who I love to say was my first term there, built me, grinded me down into dust and then helped rebuild me, is that how it is? Into a better student and a better person. So Paul, thank you very much for everything you've done. And thank you everybody for being here today to help support Dr. Ianzo with everything. This is a great thing for the Goodman School of Business, for the region, and for the analytics field going forward. Thank you very much.
My own personal one was to try and look as much as I could like Paul. So it's a new addition for me as well. So it's a couple of last things to wrap up. There are a number of people that I see in the in our audience today that are actually part of the analytics center, and I'm wondering if the researchers that are here, if they wouldn't mind just standing up and giving a little wave, and you may wish to have a talk to them as well. Come on, stand up and give a wave, give a wave. Very good, yeah. Good, all right? Yeah. So it is now my time just to thank you very much for each and every one for joining us today. I also really want to thank our exhibitors. So we've got Brock ITS, the Cooperators, Environmental Analytics, Pentavere, and Related To that are here, and they have some of the wonderful activities that they're doing right here. I know they welcome an opportunity to share some of the great things that they're doing, and I know you'd like to hear from you on some of the things that you're doing as well. So again, on our collective behalf of Brock University and Goodman School, and in particular for our Center for Business Analytics, and in particular, thank you, Lori, for joining us today, and BMO for allowing us to have you join us, and of course our partners for sure in South very much. Thank you very much for joining us today. So enjoy the rest of the afternoon.